We just saw our veterans, those who have already served for our freedom. These 3 people have committed already to serve our nation in the Army and the Air Force. How about a round of applause for them? I'm going to keep my speech short, I promise, because Ms. Stubble says she's going to talk for an hour and a half. When we came into the ROTC about 4 months ago, Sergeant Sills and I, it was kind of a sterile room. It was white. We could do some surgery in there. And one of the parents stepped up and has donated between 20 and 30 aircraft miles to make our room look like an ROTC room should. So if I could have Mr. James Alsop come up front. Parents, I know that your students don't tell you anything, so you're always welcome to come by the classroom and the office and see what it looks like. You're welcome anytime. Just want to let you all know we did our color guard drill team today up in Alton, Illinois, and our color guard was fantastic. We went up there and we competed against 9 other teams. I think we came in 5th. In my mind, we came in 3rd, maybe 4th, but it was a little subjective, so let's give them a round of applause. I'm going to end with thank you for letting Sergeant Sills and I come and be with your students every day. They really are inspiring. And since we got here back in January, February timeframe, we've seen a lot of growth in their leadership potential and their motivation in ROTC. And students, keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Master Sergeant Cohen. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing you to our distinguished guest speakers, Mr. and Mrs. Don and Joyce Seibel.
Good evening. Wonderful supper. At a recent fundraiser for Franklin County Honor Flight, held at Hardee's in Union, Missouri, I invited the St. Clair High School ROTC cadets to come and participate and help with the fundraiser. The event was held on a Saturday. Of course, there was no school, and they could have slept in, or they could have come up with any number of excuses not to attend, but 15 cadets arrived and stayed for 6 hours with us. They were busy greeting, opening the door, welcoming the people, handing out our brochures for honor flight, collecting donations from the patrons. Well, you get the picture. They did a big job and helped us well. I got on the internet to learn a little bit about the ROTC program, and what I saw and found is the objectives of the ROTC program is to educate and train high school cadets in citizenship, promote community service, instill responsibility, leadership, character, self-discipline, and to provide instruction in air and space fundamentals. What we observed during those 6 hours they were with us, or when you were with us that day, was all of the above, except, of course, for the air and space fundamentals. The cadets' behavior and conduct throughout the day was very impressive. It's quite evident that the ROTC programs in our schools across our country do make a big difference in the lives of our young people. Comments made to me on that day by some of you, or just a few here. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Another one said, ROTC has changed my life. And another one said, being in this program has helped me to communicate with others. Over the past 53 years of being married to Don, he and I have been involved in organizations, the American Legion, the VFW, Honor Flight, and I'm now with the Daughters of the American Revolution, all volunteering. The mission on Honor Flight is to take World War II veterans and other veterans who have served that have a terminal illness on a one-day trip, absolutely free to the veterans. The volunteers, of course, pay their way, and it is now $450. Remember, this is a trip only accomplished with the many volunteers who are giving back and giving for others. I'm going to give you a summary of how a day and a trip to DC is all about and what we do. After weeks of preparation, of making reservations, interviewing the veterans in their homes, leasing chartered buses for the trip when we get to DC, getting all the needed supplies. We take oxygen, wheelchairs, anything we think we might need. Polygrip, depends. You get the picture. We take everything. Except the kitchen sink. We have to order food, and we have all these things that we have to do to make this trip. On the wheelchairs, when we arrive at the airport, there are volunteers there, unloading approximately 18 wheelchairs. But on the way down, as we travel 44, the highway patrol is escorting the bus. And of course, their lights are flashing, and the veterans on board say, my goodness, there must be somebody important out on the highway tonight. We say, yes, there is important people on the highway. You are those people. Oh, didn't know that. When we get to the airport, of course, these wheelchairs have to come off, so there again, guardians, volunteers are there. Everyone goes right to work and gets the job done. A breakfast is waiting for us, and that's served by volunteers from the USO. Then, after a little while, the time has arrived for us to board our plane. The flight captain will announce to the travelers, we have VIP passengers on board. And he begins to tell them who those people are. World War II veterans. Cheers and hand clapping start to ring out. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. You've got to be there to just get the full extent of this honoring that these men and women receive on this special day. When our plane lands in DC, hundreds, if not thousands of travelers, young and old, and from all around the world, stop what they're doing. They show their respect for these brave men and women, and they too begin to clap and cheer. American flags are everywhere. Sometimes we have active duty soldiers that line the hallways at attention as we pass by the airport. They're there to shake their hands if they can get a chance, want to kneel down and give them a hug. And the veterans just don't quite understand all the attention that they're receiving. They say, I did what I did because it was my duty for my country. This is why this group of veterans are called the greatest generation. Well, during the day, we visited memorials. A box lunch is brought in from Arby's, which is scrumptious, so much you can't really eat it all. And that's enjoyed. And then a trip to the tomb of the unknown soldier, changing of the guards, and watching the changing of the guard are hundreds of people. And it gets so quiet. You've heard the phrase, you could almost hear a pin drop. Everyone is reverent, respectful. Even the children stand and watch these men as they perform 24/7, 365 days a year, no matter what the weather is. So after we leave this, we're off to the airport where everyone has been given money to get a bite to eat. It's time to eat again before we head home. It's been a full day. Lots of pictures have been taken, memories have been made, friendships made, and perhaps a few of these veterans have been reunited on this day with a buddy that might have been in his troop or might have even been in the foxhole with him. These men and women went in the service, many of your age, 16, 17, and maybe older ones might have been 18. Well, we're on our way home now, and of course the captain announces once again that we have VIP people on board. And once again the veterans are honored with respect and cheers, applauding, thanking them for their service to our country. Then there is a stillness that comes over us all as we travel, thinking about the day, just wondering what, why me? Why was I asked to go? But we have one more little surprise for them. The flight attendant gives us a microphone, and one by one, we call out a veteran's name. It's mail call. Each veteran receives a large envelope filled with letters that possibly some of you students might have written. It's a generic letter. They don't know who they're writing to, it's just a veteran. But you thank them for their service, honoring them for serving our country and keeping us all safe. You tell them, I've been praying for you, and I hope you're well. They receive personal letters from their family members. Some of these folks going into the service and coming home, they don't come home and tell any memories or stories. We had a man and a wife, both of them veterans, both served in World War II. And when they filled out their application, the children were surprised to know that their mother had been in the service. Mother, tell us you were in the service. That's when they found out. So they all receive these large envelopes. So what I would like to say, and Don will say too when I give him time to get up here and talk a little bit, get involved. Opportunities for serving and giving back are limited only by your imaginations. There's so many things that you can do to help other people. No, when you volunteer, there's no paycheck, but you are rewarded pricelessly with honor, serving, and it just goes on and on. You're going to feel so much better by what you do. And I know you that came and helped that day at Hardee's. You said you had fun. Wasn't work, but you didn't get paid, but you enjoyed what you did. So you were volunteering. You were serving in a community. For many, volunteering is a way of life for us. We're retired. So we volunteer almost like we did at a job. And we wonder, how did we ever get anything done? Some volunteer just for a few hours each day, maybe after school or after work, a month, maybe a year that goes by, and maybe you don't have any more time to volunteer. But giving back of oneself fulfills a need inside of us as we get involved to give back. You are our leaders of the future. Please take every opportunity that you have to serve and give back with honor, respect, integrity, and pride. Thank you.
Well, she's outdone me again. Thank you very much for having us here this evening. It's an honor. I represent the American Legion as well as Honor Flight. Currently the Public Relations Officer for District 9. You might know, sitting there, Legionnaires. And if I haven't stepped on too many toes, come June, I might be your commander, so we'll just have to wait and see about that. So, there again, we thank you. Talking about Honor Flight, Joyce is so modest. She's the one that makes the meal call happen. Let's give her a hand. The school children throughout the area have been more than willing to do these letters, and she has several schools that we contact, and we go pick up the meals and love delivered to the house so we can have them. A lot of times these veterans will read those over and over again. Get home and read them again. Sometimes they'll even follow up and go to the school where those letters came from. Thank the children personally. Honor Flight is something that you have to experience personally to really get an understanding of what it's all about. I was honored to be a guardian for a Vietnam veteran who was in his 60s, full of cancer, a result of Agent Orange. At that time, he had 3 weeks to live. In his bucket list, being from Illinois, he wanted to see a Cubs game, wanted to see his daughter's new house, and go see the Vietnam War. Shooting. That Vietnam War brings out all kinds of emotions. I don't know why. We've had World War II veterans ask if they could go see the wall, hopefully to see their son's name on that wall. It's touching, it really is. These veterans don't ask for a thing. They don't expect anything. When we pull into D.C., Reagan International Airport, you have 2 huge water pumpers on each side of that plane. And what they do, they give us a water cannon salute right over that plane. There again, the veterans want to know, what's this all about? Who's that for? We have to tell them, that's for you. That's where it starts, right there. From that moment on, the rest of their day is focused on them, and they see how the people feel about that greatest generation. go on and on about the experiences that we've had. Joyce reiterated to the grandma that kept a secret from her family that she had served. They didn't know that. We've had others do the same thing. We've had veterans that have come and opened up finally after being on the flight and talking that day and once they get home about their experiences. I've never said a word before to nobody about what they saw, what they experienced. Naturally, just like me, a lot of them served overseas. Some of them served overseas but in a quiet zone. So everybody's got a different story. Now, we're dealing with the ROTC Air Force this evening. Joyce mentioned about the youngsters that went in during that era. A lot of the youngsters, 20 years of age, was the leader of a task force going in on bomb raid. 20 years old. Had B-24, B-17, whatever, leading that raid. 20 years of age. It's hard to imagine. That's the way it was. So we truly enjoy our evening this evening. Thank you so much again. God bless the ROTC and all the work that's being done for them. And them being part of my alma mater, class of 56, hooray. But those times have gone by so fast, it's hard to realize it's been that long. Never again, thank you again, and keep up the good work.